Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon news deprivation has gotten pretty bad. So bad that we're at day 52. Let's hear it for day 52 of no official Pokemon news. Sorry about that. Oh, that happens every once in a while now. But what I see in the comments now a lot are people saying that Gamefreak is punishing us for everything that happened with Pokemon Sun and Moon. There were too many leaks, there was too much information, seems that we're ungrateful about this game anyways, so we're just being punished when it comes to Pokemon information and news. But I honestly think that that isn't the case, especially on the side of leaks, because the Pokemon Company not giving us any news is actually just hurting themselves. That we need hype. There needs to be people that get excited about the game, because regardless of how Pokemon Sun and Moon turned out as a game, it is one of the fastest and highest selling Pokemon games of all time. It was actually an incredible season for news and hype, because people knew what was going to be going down when it came to Pokemon Sun and Moon information. Every time we turned around, something new was happening. There was a new event going on. There were new Pokemon being revealed, and it was exciting. And that's going to be great for Pokemon Company PR because it's in the people's minds. Right now, everyone was like, oh my god, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, we have confirmation of the next game, and then we've had no information for almost 2 months now, so people barely remember that the game exists. No one cares about it right now, even though throughout the entire summer, Pokemon Sun and Moon was on everyone's minds, to the point where, like, we were freaking out over a trailer. That this was in a trailer for, like, 1 frame, people actually started doing coverage on it, and then it got, like, official recognition in Korokoro, and turned out to be Rockruff, and then everyone just loved the rest of the news that was going with Pokemon Sun and Moon. And that's why this is very strange, because we've seen a lot of news and information with Pokemon X and Y, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Pokemon Sun and Moon, but then we get into Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and it's like we're back in the 5th generation, or before we had this merging of simultaneous release dates on games, and we just feel left in the dark on pretty much everything. Now, it is the same for Japan, but this is definitely something much different than we have seen before, and I honestly don't think the result is because Gamefreak is punishing us for leaking everything, because we leaked quite a lot back then. Also, we did kind of go overboard on the news coverage. That's because we were just excited about the game. Now there's no excitement, so there's nothing to get crazy about. However, pretty much everything was leaked at one point or another. And my goodness, were there a lot of different Pokemon Sun and Moon leaks. We had actual video and gameplay leaks that happened from time to time. We had the Riddler, we had the Chinese leaks, and then it all concluded with the entire game being pirated a week before. But I don't think that that's a reason to punish people by not giving them news of the next game. That's just going to hurt the Pokemon Company. That's just going to hurt the game unnecessarily, because that's the thing behind leaks. That no matter how hard you try, leaks are going to happen. Even with all that information that ended up coming out to the official Pokemon website just a few days later. Like, it's interesting, the gameplay that we saw in this video that was uploaded to YouTube actually ended up on the Pokemon official website as kind of like a little preview of what the Pokemon looks like in battle. So that was actual the footage that was going to be up on the website, and then it ended up getting like a full release as well. Pretty much no matter how hard you're going to try, your game is going to get leaked. So actually, by publishing a lot of official news, you're giving leakers less of an opportunity to get some information out there. And also, by not publishing news, you're giving a lot more opportunity for just fraudulent leaks to spread amongst the community and then taint people's interpretations of the game. Someone sees a fake leak that turns out to have better mechanics or some better features than the game, that's actually going to offend them more than just kind of like putting that out quickly and being like, here's what's going to be in the game in a more broad sense. That way you don't spoil the game by giving out official news, but at least there's more than just people's ambitions running wild and then getting crushed when the actual game comes out when there was no information about it. Also, when you think about it, the majority of the Pokemon audience is actually not even going to care about YouTube content. It's not going to care about leaks. They pretty much are just going to follow the official Pokemon Company for their official news, and that's about as far as it goes. So by trying to hold back on news information to punish the few people that actually engaged in publishing news or leaks or anything like that, you're going to be hurting a majority of the audience, and then also just killing off your own PR as well. And even then, no matter how hard you try, leaks are going to get through. So we have these Tomy Toy leaks, which are starting to imply something very significant about new Pokemon or new forms that could be coming to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And this is how you build hype. Like anything from the Pokemon Company. Just give us an official black dot question mark. Why doesn't the Pokemon Company do like really cheeky information or really cool news drops as well? Like, I would just take a tweet from the Pokemon Company that's either a black outline like they did with Zoroark. I would just take this. Give me a dot and a question mark and maybe a date for the news announcement. That's another thing. Like, when it came to Pokemon Sun and Moon, sometimes we got like a couple days heads up, like, hey, get ready for an announcement in 5 days, or sometimes the news just kind of dropped. I'd be okay if Pokemon's company said, we have something coming out in 10 days, mark your calendar, here's the countdown, or something like that. Or even if they just like uploaded an incredibly blurred video of gameplay. They can have so much fun with this for the news reveals, but they aren't doing it. And I don't know why. Now, another thing people will say is that the Pokemon Company just gave out way too much information, way too much news before the game came out, and they're trying to do something different with this one. Well, this is so different with what we have with Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, it just doesn't make any sense. And also, I completely disagree that we got too much information building up into Pokemon Sun and Moon. There was at no point did I think, oh man, this is too much information. I feel like I'm spoiled, or I feel like I'm not going to enjoy the game as much. If anything, it made me enjoy the game more because it was consistent hype. This was like almost from February. Actually, they started giving like more major news and information around like May and June and stuff. But since like June until the game came out, I was living and breathing hype for Pokemon Sun and Moon. But we do not have that with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon right now, and that's because we just don't have the news reveals. Pretty much everything that was said by the Pokemon Company about Pokemon Sun and Moon, just got me more excited for the game. And even then, not everything was released, not everything was revealed. I was able to make more videos about Pokemon Sun and Moon than any other Pokemon game, despite people saying that everything was revealed by the Pokemon Company before the game came out. Even though there were still a lot of unreleased Pokemon, even though there were still a lot of unreleased and like the game mechanics as well. Let's look at some of the features that they actually released news about. We have Hyper Training, we have the Battle Royal, we have we have teasers for new features coming to Pokemon Sun and Moon, Rotom Dex, using the QR scanner. I mean, this is pretty basic stuff. It's not like my game is going to be completely ruined. My experience is done. Pokeride stuff was also really cool to learn about because it had that build-up. Like, wait a second, does this mean HMs are dead? Like, rip HMs? And then it turned out once we got a hold of the game, the questions were answered. I like being able to get information and then create questions at the same time. If you ask me, Pokemon Sun and Moon news build-up was perfect. You know, we have the Pokefinder feature. That got me hyped. I wanted to see how the Pokefinder played, and you cannot experience it. You can't say, oh, Pokemon released a little bit of teaser about how the Pokefinder works. I haven't even played the game yet, but now I know exactly how everything about the Pokefinder is, and I can already tell if it's a good or bad thing. You know, you have to play the game to experience it, and then the news just kind of accompanies that. That even though you're given a tutorial, I don't really think I would have been changed much about my experience with Pokefinder if I had not known that existed beforehand, before that guy says, hey, go over there and take a picture of that Pokemon. So yeah, like, you look at it, the information we got was pretty tame. There was a high volume of it. Like, oh man, look at this, the entirety of the Pokepelago is spoiled, right? Well, no, I still had to catch Pokemon, I still had to learn how to develop my islands and get the efficiency going on with it. I'm still able to make multiple guides about the Pokepelago after the game played out, after I started playing the game, instead of having a full Pokepelago guide just off of the Pokemon Sun and Moon news. So I honestly can't see how the Pokemon Company spoiled anything or gave us too much news at really any point. I can't really see how the Pokemon Company would try to punish us for publishing or finding out about leaks, because leaks are going to happen regardless. Even like with the Crackdown, you'd imagine that after the Chinese leaks, the Riddler, these videos got out, some of the other leaks that we experienced, that the Pokemon Company would make sure Pokemon Sun and Moon would have just the cleanest launch. No, we had the entirety of the game leaked a week before the game ended up coming out, and I don't also see how that could be anything. Like, that's when you're spoiling yourself. If you look at the full data mine from the demo, if you look at the full data mine or gameplay that was being published before Pokemon Sun and Moon was even released, then yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with official. I don't understand how that could tie in with any official news announcements that we could see from Pokemon Sun and Moon. But yeah, if we look at like July into August, by this time we were getting so much new Pokemon information, and we just don't have any of that right now, and a lot of people are starting to just lose less faith in the game. Like, people are just saying, alright, 2017 is dead, let's go right into 2018. That's when we're getting our Diamond Pearl remix, that's when we're getting our Nintendo Switch game, that's when things are going to get better for Pokemon. But yeah, we need to keep, like, I think the Pokemon Company needs to do something, at the very least. Even a soft leak, just to like acknowledge that the game is going to be real, because now there's like legitimate fears and concerns coming from people that there's actually not going to be enough content. that even with all of the constant news inside Pokemon Sun and Moon, there was actually still new features to be discovered inside of the game. Well, if they're not giving us anything, is there really going to be that much of a change and reason to buy the game, which is one of the big fears that people are having. I mean, even with Pokemon Omega Green Alpha Sapphire, a majority of the news reveals were about, like, the Mega Evolutions, but we don't see any new form teases. We have Solgaleo Lunala form. Like, all they have to do is tell us what these are, and then throw out a question mark box, and then we're done. Like, okay, cool. Now we at least know there's something else to this game, instead of the speculation, which people are getting tired of, and then they're just losing faith for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Like, maybe the launch is going to be poor, and then if the game turns out being really good, people will then start picking up copies of the game. But if we have a weak launch, it's not going to be as strong as the potential as the game could have been. Stronger launch means more people kind of looking and then being later adopters of the game or something like that. So it's kind of awkward right now, but I honestly don't think that a lot of the theories that Gamefreak is punishing us, Nintendo is punishing us for the leaks, that there was too much information. I honestly don't think that that has anything to do with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon news cycle. It looks like the Pokemon Company is doing something different, and I think that maybe it'd be punishment for just not responding correctly. Like, everyone got pissed off at Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It got so bad to where the president of the Pokemon Company had to come out and say, oh yeah, by the way guys, we're getting a Switch game next year. Hopefully this is what you want and not Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. If anything, that is the punishment, but not for all of the other reasons I've been seeing in the comment section. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.